Hey guys, Flo from F1.8 here. Over the past 3 years, the Sigma 18-35 is the lens that I have used the most, and I thought it was time to make a quick review about it. This lens gets a lot of criticism online, but I can honestly say that this is one of my favorites. In this video, we'll talk about how I use it, the pros and cons, and whether or not I would still recommend it. Before I start, don't forget to subscribe to see more videos like this one, and let's get into it. How I use it. So I've used this lens on a Canon C200, the Ursa Mini Pro, the Canon EOS R, and of course my current BMPCC 6K. Documentaries. A lot of my work consists of shooting documentaries, and this lens is a must-have in my opinion. The range and aperture makes it a perfect documentary lens. On some shoots, I found myself using this lens only for the entire day. I don't think I ever went out on a job without this lens since I bought it. Low light situations. When it comes to low light conditions, this lens is hard to beat, with its 1.8 aperture. It really is like having 3 prime lenses in one. Interviews. This lens is the one that I use for 90% of my interviews. I can shoot shallow depth of field if I want to. It allows me to change focal length easily, so it saves me time during the actual shoot. And overall, I quite like the image that comes out of this lens for talking heads, since it is quite neutral. Reviews. The other way that I use this lens a lot is for my YouTube channel. Pretty much everything that you see is shot with this lens, whether it is a product review or myself talking to camera. Pros of this lens. Amazing value. For 800 USD, I don't think there's a more versatile lens for the price. Mount options. The fact that you can use this lens on Canon EF mount, Nikon F, Pentax K, Sony A, and of course Sigma SA is just incredible. The Sigma is also very nicely built. It feels heavy and is solid. I also think that focusing with this lens is very smooth and much better than my Canon L series, for example. Neutral look. Having a neutral look means that this lens can be used for a wide variety of projects and can be matched easily with other lenses. It is sharp. I know this is not a good thing all the time, but it is much easier to soften up the image of a lens than sharpening it. I sometimes use a Promise filter on it, for example. Cons of this lens. No IS. There is no IS. This can be an issue, especially when shooting handheld. On long documentary shoots, I usually have my easy rig if I intend to use this lens a lot. Shooting at 18mm will also help. No weather sealing. This Sigma is not weather sealed. For someone like me that spends a lot of time shooting outdoors, this can also be an issue, and I usually prefer to use my Canon lenses when shooting outside. Heavy. This lens is quite heavy, at 810 grams. Of course, cinema lenses, for example, are much heavier, but this lens is also aimed at people shooting with smaller rigs too, and after a few hours you will definitely feel the weight. For example, my Canon 16-35 f4 is only 615 grams. Neutral look. As I've mentioned earlier, the look of the Sigma is fairly neutral, and whilst it can be a good thing, it also means that the image can look a little flat in some cases. There is not a lot of character. And finally, this lens cannot be used or should not be used on full-frame cameras. It is meant for APS-C and Super 35 sensors. A lot of newer cinema and mirrorless cameras are now full-frame, so this might be an issue in the future. To be honest with you, I love shooting with Super 35 and APS-C sensors, so this doesn't bother me at all. Would I still recommend this lens? If you already shoot or intend to shoot with a Super 35 or APS-C sensor camera, then yes, 100%. I can't think of a more useful lens. The range is amazing, the 1.8 aperture is extremely handy, and you won't break the bank either. In my opinion, this is a lens that should be considered for anyone starting the filmmaking journey or for people already established that want to own a versatile and reliable lens. Like I said before, this is not my favorite lens, but the one that I use the most, and I think it might even be more important. That's it from me for today, guys. Hope you have enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments what is the lens that you use the most. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.